Hi, this is Mantu. This is live and unscripted. Today, I'm just going to share with you a, a little bit about bias, and we're going to be looking at the Sarum prayer and just be thinking about ways that it might inform us uh, how we can look at our own bias today. First, I'm going to read from Proverbs 12, verses 15 through 20. Fools think their own way is right, but the wise listen to advice. Fools show their anger at once, but the prudent ignore an insult. Whoever speaks the truth gives honest evidence, but a false witness speaks deceitfully. Rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. Truthful lips endure forever, but a lying tongue lasts only a moment. Deceit is in the mind of those who plan evil, but those who counsel peace have joy. Those who counsel peace have joy. I love the way that that finishes. And in my Bible, there's printed the Sarum prayer. The Sarum Primer was written around the 12th century. It was based, Sarum is kind of connected to Salisbury. It's just basically before the Reformation, there was a collection of prayers that were put together by the Universal Church. And you might have heard of it. It says, God be in my head and in my understanding. God be in my eyes and in my looking. God be in my mouth and my speaking. God be in my heart and in my thinking. God be at my end and at my departing. And today I've just been thinking about that, the ways that it's not just that we want God to just be in our head, but we want God to be in our understanding, right? So we want God to help us because we realize that we have our own perceptions of reality. I've been thinking about this today, almost in a Kantian sense. We have this we see things and we think, well, that's the way reality is for everyone. And the truth is that when we all observe something, we are seeing something completely different. I was thinking of that when we saw those videos with George Floyd and each person in that scenario holding up their phone having a different perspective on what was happening. And as America kind of looked at that, we began to realize that our own perspectives of how we think about police brutality, how we think about racial bias, we begin to see our own biases and to realize that our understanding is so limited. It's as if we're looking out the window in an airplane and we just have that little window into the world, but we know the world is so much bigger than that. If we could be in the cockpit, we could see everything. And I think in the same way, we're asking God to give us that cockpit perspective, realizing that we are limited in who we are, so that God's wisdom could speak out more fully. And we begin to realize our own biases, our own distorted little ways of seeing the world. And I'm thinking about that especially this week as we're at 1 year with the death of George Floyd. Just really thinking about that for my own life. How am I living in my own little bubble, in my own little porthole? How is my perspective so narrow when it could be so much broader? So I ask God to be in my mouth and in my speaking and in my heart and in my thinking, so that I won't be like that fool in Proverbs. I invite you to consider this prayer and this proverb today as you continue in your life. Are there places where you are narrow in your thinking, where you could use that cockpit perspective, where you could see everything that God would see? Of course, we can't do that completely, but we can ask for that wisdom. And I pray for you to have that wisdom today. Go in peace into your day. Amen.